Welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be showing you the best exercises for abs. How to get abs, how to get a flat stomach, and how to just lean up the ab area and get that definition or just that flat stomach that you are after. Firstly, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button down below because it would make me super happy. Now let's get the video started, and if you do enjoy this video and find it useful, please do make sure that you share it with a friend because it helps me out massively, because I just want to be able to help as many people as possible and I want to help people do things in the correct way. Just doing like 1,000 crunches every morning before you wake up, that may do something.
But there are some much more effective ways, such as
hanging leg raises. Now remember, on this movement you want to be raising not only your legs but also your hips. You want to kind of be tucking your pelvis up and raising that and really focusing on the whole abs rather than your hips to do this exercise. Now this exercise does have some downsides. Grip strength, and my hands get so sore when I'm doing this, and even if you have a really strong grip like I do, I mean guys even often ask me to open bottles because my hands are so friggin' strong, then like it just, my hands give out. And also I used to find that my hips would give out as well, so there are of course some solutions to this problem. You can strengthen your hips, you can use straps. However, I also sometimes use chalk and that helps, but not quite as much. So what I do find that helps me a lot is using one of those back-rested things where you're like this, and I will insert a video clip here. Focus on moving your pelvis, legs, and all that shebang up to your chest. So if you're doing it rested on here, I think everyone's going to be different. I can do a lot more reps on that than I can the hanging one, just because of the fact that the hanging one's harder and the fact that my hands give out so much. So when you're doing that, I mean, I think for ab training, it's a great idea, like any muscle, to do a combination of high and low reps. So for this exercise, when I'm doing it hanging, I tend to do about 15 reps. And then when I do the one where my back is rested, then I do kind of like 30 reps maybe. But remember, you don't need to be doing thousands of reps on exercises. It has actually been shown that kind of, I think it's between 30 to 90 reps per time that you train abs. And then if you're doing this like 3 or 4 times a week, then that is totally fine for, you know, for ab games. So I think that really making sure that you're focusing on kind of doing a range of different rep ranges. So then for a lower rep range, a great exercise that I cannot recommend enough is cable crunches. You can go super heavy on this, but the most important thing to remember, guys, is I often see people kind of, their hips rock back while they're doing it and their whole body shifts back. You want to focus on, like, pretend that someone is holding your hips while you're crunching down. So you're watching me right now crunching down, and you can see that my hips stay pretty much totally still. Now this is really important because then it makes sure that your abs are getting, like, you really want to focus on the upper ab for this, and then it really makes sure that your abs are getting the full contraction. And I recommend kind of going pretty heavy on this. I do it on 31.5 kg, and I can do that for upwards of 11 or 12 reps. But I mean, obviously that's because I've been doing it for a while, but honestly you can go pretty heavy on this. Don't do it too light, because otherwise you feel like you're just going to fall over, because you do need the resistance from the cables to help you do this workout.
Next up is ab rollouts. Now you can see here that I'm obviously not doing it with an ab wheel because my gym doesn't have one of them. This exercise is awesome. It's really hard though, so if you are a beginner, I wouldn't recommend starting with this one. I'd recommend starting with the kind of assisted knee raises and then moving on to the leg raises. But yeah, this exercise is really good, especially for strength, because it's kind of like an isometric exercise when you're also moving. So yeah, it's super hard and super good, and I really enjoy it, but it's, yeah, as I said, like really advanced levels. So just don't jump into it if you're first starting off, because you don't want to injure your back, because it's really easy to injure your back on this exercise. You want to keep your back as straight as possible.
So another exercise I really like, and this really hits kind of the lower ab, is reverse crunches. Now I've seen people doing these differently, but this is how I like to do them, and you can do them at home like I'm doing here. But if you want to do them in the gym, then that is cool. You can just get a weight, and then you can just hold the weight behind your head like so, and then just crunch up, and like I'm doing in the video. And or you could just hold kind of the edge of a cable machine, the metallic part or something like that. Just find something solid to hold onto in the gym and just put a mat under your back, because otherwise it can hurt your spine a little bit. But this exercise is, I'm a massive fan of. Just make sure that you're being really slow and controlled on the way down, just really focusing on that upper ab, but you will feel it in your lower abs. And just remember that you don't want to be forcing your weight up, you want to be controlling it with your abdominals. Aloha. Now another exercise I really like, which I only just thought of, is this, where you are laying down. Oh gosh, okay, I hope I don't have my back here, and sorry that my ass is in your face, but you're like this, and then you go like that. It's crunches with your arms straight and your legs, and that will hit your upper abs. For that crunch movement, I'd focus on doing a few more reps, because you can hit a pretty decent number on that. Now, one final exercise that I am a big fan of, which I kind of learned from Pilates, is this thing called 100s. Now, 100s is pretty hard. You're essentially holding that dish position. Gosh, I just don't remember what it's called. We used to do it in gymnastics, but anyways, you're holding it and you're going like this with your arms. Now I'm just going to insert a clip of me doing it, but you essentially do that thing with your arms, flapping it all about. You do that 100 times, and it is pretty hard, because the whole time you want to have this isometric hold. And by the way guys, isometric just means you're holding it still for the whole time, because the isometric hold is going to really help you when you come to do squats, deadlifts and all that shebang. If your spine is getting weak, or if your lower back hurts, exert more force on the bar. If you're able to keep more stiff and keep your trunk more tight while you're squatting, deadlifting, blah 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 blah. There is something called the Palloff press. Now I haven't got any videos of myself doing this, unfortunately. However, I recommend just googling it. I will leave a link below, because I can just leave a link, yeah, and I'll make it really clear in the description box. If I don't do that, please remind me, because I'm really bad at remembering to do that. I need to get in the better habit of doing it, because I'm gonna become a better YouTuber, guys, I promise. So subscribe, because I'm gonna be better. I'm telling you now. Okay, so now the obliques. The obliques are a fundamental part to the abs. They are this part. You have internal and external obliques, and I used to hammer mine. That's why when I tense them like that, you can see them so much, because when I was honestly about 16 or 17, I just thought that you had to do them because I always saw guys doing it. However, I didn't realize that getting blocky abs was because of like doing too much obliques. So you see people doing those side bends where they're holding weights like and going like this and doing like toe touches and stuff. That is not what you want to do if you are a girl who wants that kind of trimmed in ab, flat stomach, a little bit of abs showing look, because it's gonna make your abs blocky. Because rather than your waist coming in like that, it will kind of make your waist be like more blockier like that. I mean, if you're a guy, it will get you that nice V taper that they have. However, I mean, I think a lot of girls don't want this look, so I would stay away from doing that. To be honest, I don't even do obliques. So yeah, I mean, that's my advice. But if you want to do some obliques, then you can do the cable crunches but go to the sides. You can do toe touches. You can do those holding where you hold really heavy weights and then go one side at a time, the side bends. But yeah, then you can also do wood choppers and things like that. Anyways, now let's move on to people who just want to lose that last little bit of belly fat, and maybe even people who like still have belly fat to lose, who are also going to be training their abs at the same time. Because I often find that people who are there, they are the people who will be hammering the crunches and doing just all the abs and not really training anywhere else in their body. So here's how to lose that little bit of extra body fat. The most important thing is to just maybe dig a little deeper into a calorie deficit. A calorie deficit is how you lose body fat, but the habits and things that you do and the actions you do are how you're gonna get the body fat off, to get you in that calorie deficit, to lose that body fat. That is something that Lawrence Judd kind of made me think about really clearly, because I think a lot of times people are like, just get in a calorie deficit and then you'll lose that fat. But how do you get into that calorie deficit? Now, I've done tons and tons and tons of stuff about this before. So a few habits you could do just to get you in that calorie deficit is walk instead of taking the bus. Eat extra 2 servings of vegetables, steamed or fried in oil spray or roasted in oil spray. Eat these veggies with every meal, and then finish the vegetables and the lean protein that you have with your meal before you finish the carb source. eat slowly, be mindful while you're eating. All this type of stuff is going to be habits to help you get in a calorie deficit without even tracking macros. If you're tracking macros, then dig a little deeper into that calorie deficit. I do have a guide called the Ultimate Guide to Tracking Macros, which I will also leave a link to below. Also, if you do have hormonal issues, and if there is really, like, you are reporting your calorie intake right, and you really are doing absolutely everything, then you may be overworking, and that may be causing your hormones to go against you. But remember, this whole thing about metabolic damage isn't really a thing, and it's more just the metabolic adaptation. And then, like, especially if you're a girl, you could be having hormonal issues, like maybe PCOS or something. But because I'm not a doctor, I can't really advise on this. So I think it's really important that you go see your doctor if you think that you literally cannot lose body fat despite what you do. So I also have a podcast who I did with Claire, the PCOS nutritionist, and I'll leave a link to that below. My podcast is called Business Meets Fitness. So yeah, I would really recommend checking that out. And finally, guys, I think it's really important to say that you don't just want to be training your abs. And if you're a girl, you don't just want to be training your abs and your booty. It is important to train everywhere in your body, because that will give you this kind of nice, well-rounded physique. It won't make you bulky, because guys, trust me, it's really bloody hard to get bulky. Like, what's going to make you bulky is holding too much body fat in your body, or if maybe like you're using steroids. And something that I also want to mention is, remember, all this stuff doesn't happen in the short term. It has to be long term, and it has to be done consistently and sensibly. If you just hammer yourself into this ridiculously low calorie deficit, as I mentioned earlier, then you are just gonna have your hormones working against you, and it's not gonna be good for your health. You're gonna feel weak, you're gonna feel crappy, and there can be long-term disadvantages. I hope this video has been helpful. I really, really do. Please share it with a friend, and please leave a thumbs up below. It's super helpful for me when you do that, because it knows that the more people who watch this, the more of these type of videos I should make. Please subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one.